Hey everyone, I wanted to give some quick feedback in regards to the guided notes for Module 1, as well as acknowledging the confusion that I have created and hopefully easing some of your concerns or some of you who might be a little bit frustrated or upset. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to share my screen and go over some of these things with you that I think will help you in terms of um, creating your final mind map. Okay, so okay, first of all, I did say in the week one session that I wanted to see your guided notes by Sunday of week two, regardless of what condition they might have been in. And that was so that I could give you feedback to make sure that you were on the right direction with your notes and the details that you needed in your notes. So when I went in on Monday and saw that less than half the class had actually uploaded the guided notes, I was a little, on my part, I will say frustrated because I was expecting to spend basically the whole day giving you folks the feedback that you needed and you deserve for the work that you're putting in. Um, I do understand that in the schedule as well as in the Dropbox, it said to turn in before your PLC. My mistake is the caveat for that was that when PLCs happen week three, um, it's really not a good idea to wait till week three to do your guided notes. Okay. Ideally, you should have most of your article readings done by the end of week two. Upload what you have so that I can give you feedback and direction. And that week three really should be left for meaning making, for making sense and pulling your mind map together, the final kind of assessment, so to speak, for the module where you're demonstrating your learning. If you are still reading into week three, the odds are that you're going to have a difficult time pulling your mind map together and having the time needed to pull that mind map together. So, um, I encourage you to do the readings the first 2 weeks, turn in what you have by that Sunday so that you can get the feedback and then focus on what you need to fine tune in order to create that mind map. The other thing is the devil is in the details, 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 details. And this is what I find every time I start a course. And I use this. Folks need to learn what do we mean by details. And remember, I said in the PLC session that this is an online course. We do have some synchronous sessions, but largely you're having to make the meaning out of reading the articles and making sense. And so my way of understanding the extent to which you're doing that is by looking at your notes and how thorough your notes are. So let's first talk about, just going to quickly, the terms concept section. Um, some of you almost left this blank, which is a little bit disconcerting for me. I did say you didn't have to fill everything in, but if the term is listed there, it's really important. And so you better have a deep understanding of what that term is. And it's an understanding of what the term is in relation to the article that the term or the concept comes from. So yes, you should go to and pull from outside sources, but you need to make sure that those outside sources are actually matching how the author was using the concept of the term in the article. And then you should always add and pull from the article to expand upon the descriptions and definitions to expand upon your understandings. I also would suggest that you put a page number, not required, but if you put a page number in there, then you can quickly reference it when you go back to build your mind map, you can quickly find where you need to go. Here's an example from one of your peers on just a couple of the definitions with recentering, where you can see, the definition pulled from the article, and some additional clarifying bullets. And similarly, in epistemology, this person actually provided, you don't have to provide the link. It's great that the link was provided and where they got the resource, but pulled it from an outside resource, but then went into the text and continued to expand upon that notion of how epistemology was used in the text. And this was the part where a lot of you really did not do. You simply did the definition part, perhaps going to an outside source, and then didn't go back and make continued details, descriptions to help you understand what that term meant or how that concept or term was used by the author. So that's something that you want to make sure you do. The devil's in the details. A lot of you put real scant notes down, and I'm going to be honest with you in terms of an expectation of making a mind map. You don't have enough details. You put like perhaps the 3 ideologies of pathology and a brief little description, or you listed a few of the DAP issues with not a lot of meat and potatoes there that are going to require you then to have to go back into the article to make sense of it. So you need very thorough notes, very detailed notes pulled from the article. It is again helpful to use page numbers so that you can go back and reference for that rereading part that I talk about in week 3 in order to make your mind map. So here you see, I just pulled one theme out from reconceptualizing ECE. And here you can see it's like currently what's happening in the field. And you can see how this person detailed, this is what's happening in the field and what are the recommendations. Now you match that against maybe what you've done. There's lots of stuff in here that this individual is now going to be able to very easily go back and start pulling pieces together that bring Chen and Sotomayor, Rabadi Rao, and Canella through, and even Alua will come through in this. But you have to have the details in order to do that. Or what's going to happen is you're going to have to go back so much into the article that it's going to be a frustrating experience for you to try to put the mind map together. So the idea is to have very thorough notes so that you don't have to go too much back into the article. But if you do, you have a page number or an area that you know, oh, I need to go back here. Finally, making connections. This is the culminating kind of activity for the readings. And I had this in the Canella section. This is really revealing. It shows how closely you've been reading and how you're making sense of what it is that you're reading. As you read, if you read Chen first, when you begin reading Soto Manning and Rabadi Rao, you should be making connections. Oh, Chen said this. Oh, okay. This is where this fits in. You can even write in the margins of your article if you want to, or put down on the paper. Likewise, when you went into the Canella article, bells should have been ringing, say, oh, this was in Chen. Oh, this was in, so how the Soto Manning and Rabadi Rao, how do those pieces fit together? So here are a couple of examples of a quote or a section. It's like here, page 62, entire section, pulled and say, oh, this connects to Soto Manning. Or down here, knowledge and interpersonal relationships connects to the antibiotical in Chen, et cetera, et cetera. You know, the different examples. So that is the explicitness of which you need to be making connections. So by the time you get to this part, your mind map hopefully should be starting to come into, you should be developing ideas about how you want to map your learning of the concepts and relation to the course essential question: what does it mean to be a socially just ECE educator in a socially unjust world? There's 2 pieces of that: socially just and a social unjust world. How are you going to represent what you're learning about that in your mind map for module 1? That's your ultimate goal. So your mind map is that representation of your learning, pulling all of these pieces and concepts together into a story, putting all those concepts. You might want to draft it out, you know, start doing some errors, do a little sketching on paper before you come up with your final idea. But in that map, the concepts should be clear. They should be linked directly to the authors that you're pulling them from. The color coding, please make sure that, I'll add this here, you provide a key. Use color coding and provide a key for what the colors represent. Okay, Um, so I know this is your first time going around doing this. And honestly, I purposely kind of let things fall the way they do so that I can see where everybody's at and then guide you along the way to onto module two and how to do a little bit better job with the guided notes and how that helps to build towards your concept map. So I hope this helps some of you. Again, I apologize for the complete confusion. And you just, the expectation is that you are not waiting till week three to do all the course readings and do all this work. That is not going to work. I expect engagement every week with this course in some manner. You will not be successful. Your learning will be stunted um, if you are deciding to wait to do everything in this final week. So I just want to kind of hopefully change some habits for some of you.